Deferring high-interest debt. That internal anxiety that has you tossing and turning at night can stem from high-interest debt as a primary reason. When you reach the end of the month, you may find that only paying the minimum payment on your debt feels like a huge success as the additional debt keeps growing bigger and bigger, like a snowball rolling toward you. But you're not alone. Today, many people are burdened with high-interest loans and debts including credit cards, personal loans, and the like. Deferring debt is not an escape at this point, but with a bit of strategy, on the contrary, it's an opportunity to breathe again. You take things one step at a time. Talk to banks surrounding restructuring, pay up your existing loans with a lower interest loan, or consider deferring debts temporarily. That may feel far away or difficult to navigate through now, but it all starts with one step. Keep in mind that these debts are not a reflection of your value. Your finances may be challenging, sure, but you are in control. With the right information, decisive steps, and professional support when necessary, you can remove this burden so you can write a new chapter in your life and future. Indulging in luxurious consumption with the thought, I deserve it. It starts with the first light of dawn. Waking up, going to work, wasting your time in traffic, the incessant demands from your boss, bills, responsibilities. And then sometimes this thought enters your mind, I deserve this. Maybe a handbag, a fancy watch, or an extravagance that is more lust than need. And yes, you've worked hard. But here's the thing. What does it really mean to deserve? Consumption may provide immediate gratification, but does it really fulfill us in the long run? The capitalist system conflates success in buying. It tells you that the more you spend, the more valued you will become, normalizing living with debt. In fact, today, a large segment of the population has been conditioned to accept that debt is a normal part of life. It is simply a part of life as we know it. Credit card bills, personal loans, products bought in installments. We are given these things as if they were a vital part of life. But is this really normal? We all grapple with the anxiety of how do I make it to the end of the month? Trying to pay one debt with another and losing our freedom little by little. Because the system rewards spending as it punishes saving, planning, and patience. A telephone, a holiday, designer clothes. The aim of acquisition mortgages the future, but we need to challenge this approach. Debt is not destiny, it's an invisible shackle laid on by the system. Not making a budget and failing to track expenses. Ever had a difficulty reaching the month's end? Have you ever found yourself wondering, right after a payday, what happens to all that money? You're not alone, don't worry. In truth, many of us are in the same boat. Because let's be honest, most of us think budgeting is pointless and tracking expenses is dull. But here's the thing, if you don't control your money, it controls you. Setting a budget isn't a limitation on your freedom. It's a freedom expander. Keeping tabs on your spending doesn't mean limiting yourself. It means gaining awareness. You can't fix anything without knowing what unnecessary money is being spent where, not knowing and using tax advantages. If you would like to streamline your financial life, you must contend with two of your greatest foes: lack of awareness of tax advantages and failure to budget. Maybe you've thought, I know nothing about taxes. Whatever the government takes, that's what they take. Or, I make so little that I can't budget. But this kind of reasoning is what gets you to a place where you don't even know what's in your wallet at the end of the month, and you can't make plans for the future. If you do not list your sources of monthly income and expenses line by line, you will not have a clear understanding of where you are overspending in your budget and will always be struggling with debt or lack of money. Accepting financial ignorance. Maybe the one that's puzzled you for the longest time is, why can't I get to the end of the month? Why am I always in debt? Why am I scared of investing or not investing at all? The answer to these questions often begins with a reality that we've been reluctant to face: financial ignorance. Many people feel guilt, shame, and inadequacy at this notion, but embracing this reality is one of the best things you can do, because nobody is born an expert at managing money. Financial literacy is a skill, like learning to drive, cooking, or speaking a new language, that can be developed. Not understanding investment risks. When it comes to investing, that is one of the primary causes of financial loss. A failure to properly analyze the risks and most investors ignore this risk when making decisions. The world of investment is full of opportunities, but it also has different risks. Yet armchair investments with no awareness of these risks usually result in abrupt downtick, unexpected losses, and disappointments. No, seekers should scrutinize the fundamentals of wherever, or the whole sector, they seek investment instead of their potential yield. In the case of stock investments, one needs to consider parameters like the company's financial health, the competitive landscape of the industry, macroeconomic conditions, and potential external impacts. Likewise, in alternative investments such as digital assets or real estate, market volatility, legal changes, supply-demand balances, etc., should also be considered. Thinking short-term thinking has long-term consequences that can worsen your financial future, and that understanding is an essential part of managing your finances successfully. If you expend all the revenue you receive today merely to satisfy short-term demands, you're likely to be in a dreadful position when confronted with uncertainties tomorrow. When it comes to paying off debts, maintaining consumption habits, or spending money on things for instant pleasures, most people are just short-sighted. Yet never underestimate the need to save and invest in your future financial health. Long-term financial planning isn't only about becoming financially independent and retiring early. It's also about creating financial resilience for unfortunate life situations. Not increasing your income. In order to achieve true financial security, the most important thing is having multiple streams of income. In the long term, this is not sustainable for many people, and they strive for a good income to balance their finances. Yet every step toward earning more translates to a better life now and more peace in the future. We have more income, so you have some impact on your ability to save. Most of your money goes towards necessities, so saving is a challenge with low income. However, once you have more income, it is easier to control your expenses, and thus you have a larger margin for savings. Thus, earning more is a central piece to achieving financial independence. So legacy income is a huge positive financially as well as a positive in terms of personal energy and growth.